gals and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden. Welcome back. Today, I want to take you on a mid-September garden tour. See what's going on in my garden here in Zone 5B in the Chicago suburbs. I finally got some dahlias coming on. Some things are still really thriving, so I wanted to show you that, but then also show you some things that are petering out here toward the end of our season. Our last frost date here is October 15th, or I should say our first frost date here is October 15th. So we've got about a month left. Today is September 14th. So I wanted you to be able to see what's going on here in my neck of the woods. Also, I do have a big project on Saturday that I'm eyeing out some flowers for, which is why I want to go through and deadhead a lot of things. We're throwing a baby shower for a friend and I have volunteered to do some floral work. So fingers crossed, hopefully it goes well. But that is what our adventure is about today, and I'm taking you along for the ride. I will have a separate video about harvesting for that shower and creating what I'm creating for that shower then. But today, we're really scoping it out, seeing how everything's doing, and taking you along with us for the ride. For those of you who are new here, I am not a florist. I am not a flower farmer. I am someone who loves to grow things, and I happen to just pick up this cut flower obsession along the way here. And so this is me kind of showing you my process of how I'm doing it. It's my first year with 14 raised beds, 4 cut flowers, and this is the largest scale I've done yet. And it's been a pretty good year, definitely a lot of learning lessons, but that's where we're at in this journey right here. Let's take a look at the dahlias first, because they're finally putting on some growth. And I want a lot more growth before that first frost date. Let's go see them. Let's take a look at this bed first. First of all, I have to tell you, this Sierra Glow dahlia has impressed. I had, before the big storm, 2 huge ones that I just cut today. I'll take you inside to look at them because they're amazing. I can't with them. Can you even? So this one here, I'm hoping will open up a bit more so I can cut it on Saturday. They won't open up much past this stage of when you cut them. So I'm being patient. Over here we had some stunners. See, this is how a bunch of them look after the storm. Totally bent there. But look at that. This is Arabian Nights and it's just gorgeous. These 2 have obviously been pollinated and are starting to fade, but I'm gonna cut this one today because I'm hoping I can save that. Oh, so pretty. These white ones here you're seeing are Blizzard. Again, little toppled over from the storm. I mean, it was a ton of rain. This one actually still looks pretty good, even though you can tell in the back it is starting to fade. Oh, and I just see these stems are so fragile. I'll take that one out now, but you can see that one's been on there a while because of those underside leaves starting to brown, as opposed to this. That one's nice and ripe for a good timed harvest. Could even open up a little more if I wanted it to. Same with this one here. Really, really pretty. Back here, these 2 are really budded up. You can see a lot of buds in here. That one's about ready to open. This is Bella Vamira. Has a lot of great height, just need those buds to open. And then right in front, a little shorter, but still budded up nicely, is Joey Morella. Looking forward to those both to put some beautiful dahlias on. Then this last one in front right here is Alamode, and I've had one of them come on, which was very pretty. Looking for the rest of them to come on too. Some good buds though. So patience this year is the name of the game with dahlias. Same for you. Comment below and let me know how your dahlias are coming along after a slow start. Then we've got a little bit of a mess right here. My Seattle dahlia plant, though incredibly productive, I mean, just on this area here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blooms or buds. Some of them are past their prime, obviously, like these. I'll cut those off. But a really stunning flower and so productive. This is by far the one that I've gotten the most flowers off of. If you want a flower that is pretty, has some dimension to it, yellow and white. That's productive. Seattle is the one. It is tied up there, but not enough. We gotta get this one all straightened out here. So it's a jungle, but it's a beast. Down here, my golden scepter has completely fallen over. You can see that bloom's actually pretty. I should cut that because that's usable, but it's completely flopped over. I did tie these up, but that one just dumped from way over there to all the way over here. But then above golden scepter, we have a lot of buds right in here, and this one is Cornell bronze. I don't think I've gotten any blooms yet off that, so I'm waiting patiently for blooms like this to open. And next to it, how fun is this? I just noticed these are opening today. I love it. It's called Giggles, and it's a collarette type of dahlia. Check it out. Oh, I just think it's so fun. So I'm glad those are starting to open, and I planted that one pretty late because the one that was in this spot, which I believe was regular Cornell, the tubers rotted. So I'm happy with that I'm starting to get some blooms off of that guy. So fun. And on the end here, these two are the ones I was most looking forward to, but we have what I think is a water issue. Look at those leaves. That's probably an indicator of water if I had to guess. And these are right by the drip line, although the others are not that far either. I'm not exactly sure what happened. That's my best guess, is too much water. But the top, the most recent growth, looks really good. So I'm holding out for it because these are breakout, and I think they should be stunning, even rivaling Cafe au Lait. So fingers crossed those come along. Okay, this large one over here is Gandalf's Victory, and this was planted on May 22nd. I know because I labeled the tag that way, but no blooms yet. Again, I just feel like it's taken a long time this year. Over here, Brown Sugar, finally, some blooms. That one's been pollinated. I can cut that one. This one's really nice. Not opened yet completely, but still really pretty. So Brown Sugar is putting on some blooms, thankfully. This last big one over here, no blooms yet, but nice and tall, seemingly healthy. Ferncliff Copper. So waiting on her as well. And then one I had to replant that's real tiny. I'm not sure it's gonna do anything. American Dawn, especially since it's pretty shaded, since everything else is so much bigger. Let me show you two other areas where I have some more dahlias going since we're on the queens, so you can see my whole picture of where everything's at here. So here in this corner, in containers, I've got some others, and these I haven't staked, which is why they're falling all over the place. But I've got lots of buds. Buds are coming here. So I'm excited to see how these put on a show. And I'm not sure what variety that is. I don't even think I ID tagged it, but they're growing pretty well in this west-facing corner over here. So I think I'm gonna add some more pots to that corner next year with more dahlias in them. Over here, we've got blooms, yay! And this is northwest side of the house in a nice big pot, and even some buds over there coming on. This one obviously is past its prime here, but look at that beauty, besides that one right there. I know it's hard to see in the sun, but she's pretty. I don't even know her name. I've got to be better about that next year. But I'm glad to see blooms up here. Then in my front dahlia beds, this one right here is Tyrell, and it's a real beauty. Big bloom, yellow with a little red coloring throughout. Really nice. Also a lot of blooms. I've got buds and blooms on here like crazy. This one is past its prime. This one is just opening up, so you can see the difference. Some have a little more red, some less, but big fan of Tyrell. Also in here, we've got some intermixed. This is Groovy, one of my favorites from last year. Here's more up here. Again, they're all reaching for the light a little bit one way or the other. That's one that's just opening, that's looking nice and pretty. These I need to go in and clean up so more buds can form. But that's a nice little accent flower there, Groovy. And the rest of these I'm still waiting for. I've got some that are budded up. These were planted later, I want to say in July actually. The only one that does have a bloom on it that has since faded is Gallery Singer, which was right in here. So I'll go in and cut deep so we can get some more blooms on that. But what do you know? Gladiola. This is like a bright orange. One gladiola coming on there. But look at this view here. They're just really reaching for the sun. It is tough living in a woodland and having my cut flowers get enough sun to where they're not reaching, because this happens. So I don't know. I've got to think about if I want to move anything around for next year, if it would even make a difference. But point being, the queens, the dahlias, are starting to come slowly but surely. The next thing I want to show you are my zinnias, and then also one lisianthus, because it's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Yes, that's for real. Look at these blooms, gorgeous. 3 on the same stem open, Voyage to White Lisianthus. Unbelievable. Yes, they're leaning over. No, I don't care. Ugh. Just lovely. Hoping I can use those on Saturday. The best. Just the best. Cherry caramel phlox still looking good. I should be able to use that Saturday. What a workhorse that has been this year. We'll definitely grow that again. And now, the zinnia. This whole box of zinnias almost died. I came home from vacation. They were looking really, really poor, wilty, brown. I replanted all of them, repotted them up, and it worked. I think I need to put a full video together about that experience, because look at this. They're just thriving. So don't give up on your zinnias. If they look bad, replant them, watch them grow. Okay, we've got several varieties in here. My favorite, Benari's Giant Salmon Rose. It's pretty much a picture perfect one. This one is what it looks like when it's on its way out. Made its way over into the dahlia box, and you can see the back starting to go. So I'll cut this one way back. Queen Lime with Blush right above that. These are very pretty. These are also ready. If I take my hand about 8 inches down and wiggle, they stay pretty sturdy. Something like this that's smaller. Oh no, that's pretty sturdy too. Let's find one. There's got to be one that's not quite ready. No, that one's ready too. Oklahoma White with Oklahoma White. Yeah, that's wiggling a little bit. I'd give that one more time. That one more time too. The Queen Limes either look like this with one petal around the outside, or double like this. I prefer the doubles, but I think they're both pretty. It's been a good year for those. Oklahoma Salmon again here. Oklahoma White, not salmon. This one's Oklahoma White. My goodness, get your colors right, stuff. Then we get to the top layer, which I'm going to have to get up on the box to see. But again, we've got that salmon rose here. It just steals the show for me. Nothing like it. I've gotten lots of blooms off of it. Nice, tall, long stems. Gorgeous. If we come around here, so I can stand up on the box, then we get into some other colors. This one I believe is scarlet, and this here, deep red. You can see the difference between the two. If I grab them both, deep red is deeper than scarlet back here. Also, you see that slash of color in there. Let me get down there. Zowie Yellow Flame in the house. I've been pleasantly surprised with this one. It is unique. There's a lot of color in it. Yellow to an orangish to a purplish. But I think they've been fun to use and work with. Another Benarius Giant right there. Another deep red right here. Point being, you can see all these blooms. Whoa! Almost fell. Zinnias have not disappointed. I will for sure grow them again. Cosmos are starting to wind down a little bit, but I've still got some I can certainly use. One fell apart in the storm. You can see they're reaching for the sun also. But my Cupcakes Blush, I think, has absolutely just started coming on because I haven't seen that little blush color yet. So that's good. Cupcakes Blush. And that's more white. Some little itty bitty ones too. So Cosmos have been fun this year. I'll grow those again as well. I said this before, I'm not crazy about the Rubenza color or the cranberry color, but I'm loving the whites and off-whites. Stellar. As far as flowers that are still thriving, those that you've just seen are the ones I would say are still going pretty strong. Everything else is starting to die out. The snapdragons for sure, the scabiosa for sure. So I'll briefly show you those to see what I'm talking about, but really the ones you just saw are the ones that are still going strong for me in 5B here in the Chicago suburbs. However, I do have 2 foliage plants that are also thriving, which is important if you want a filler. So let me show you those first. We've got Dusty Miller and Red Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. First year growing Dusty Miller, and I have to say, I'm impressed. These really put on a lot of growth since I planted them out. Plenty to choose from. They've done well in the boxes back here. They've also done well in the containers I have them in. Really nice. I'll be using these on Saturday, no doubt. And the texture is just such a nice velvety texture. Adds a dimension you don't get with a lot of flowers or filler. I should touch on these. This is the Flamingo Celosia, and it's done really well for me too. Starting to die out a little bit, but I still have some plumes that I can use. Here in the west facing sun, this is the biggest. That is, I would say, 10 feet high up there. All the way down from this. I'm here to say I think this one gets the most sun. And because of that, it also has a little different variation in color. You get this typical mahogany, then you've also got some green that I don't notice in the other ones as much. So yeah, definitely worked in this spot here. Over here we've got 2 more containers, also nice and tall. And then lastly, I've got some planted up against the house here that also seem to get good sun because we've got quite a bit of growth on those as well. So I think I'll be relying on this pretty heavily for foliage this weekend. And one of my biggest takeaways this year is that Red Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus is a wimpy flower. So if you're using it in a cut arrangement, it's best to put it in a hydrator and also to quick dip it before you put in an arrangement so that it will firm up and look really nice, because that first bouquet I did this year without it, limp city. So just remember that about Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. It's still a workhorse. I still love it. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Over here in this box, again, Zinnias, looking good. Oklahoma Salmon. Let me find one in the shade so you can see it's coloring a little better here. There we go. Nice salmon color. Also some Oklahoma white in here. These have done really well in this spot. Lots of blooms. No major problems. There's a good shot of the color. And then one other filler that I forgot to mention that has done really well is Texas Plume Celosia, which is right here Hard to see the color, but it's almost like an iridescent pale pink. Really pretty, could go with a lot of things. So I'll definitely be growing more of this next year. I've also got Sunday Gold Celosia down here, which I've cut off of, so it's a little tinier, but I love that ochre yellow color. I'll be growing more of that next year too. This is where we get to the part that things are pretty much done. I'll start with my front beds, snapdragons, bells of Ireland, bachelor buttons, pretty much faded out. Here's my first bed of snapdragons. The only ones that are still somewhat okay, Costa apricot right here. I may be able to use those. Everything else, pretty much done. Same over here. I thought we'd get another flush, but I really haven't had a strong second flush. Oh my Gonfrema! Strawberry Fields Gonfrema still looking really good. I gotta give it credit where credit is due, and nice long stems there on that too. I forgot about that one. I only had a couple Hot Biscuits Amaranth. I think I can use some of this on Saturday. Look at that nice long tassel, perfect for fall. But then my bells of Ireland are definitely done. I'm hoping a lot of those seeds are dropping in there because those can come back in the fall and over winter. Hopefully, I'm thinking that's an experiment for next year. And actually my honeywort doesn't look terrible there. That's also a pretty nice filler. Might be able to use some of that yet this year too. Bachelor buttons definitely tuckered out, but I have seen a lot of seeds self-seeding and dropping off of these to come back next year. So I'm feeling fairly confident we'll have a good flush of those in the spring. My back bed here, I'm starting to let go pretty wild. I guess one that's still hanging in there really well is the Sweet William Black Cherry Dianthus. Looks wonderful, smells amazing. Again, that's one of my favorites from this year. Rudbeckia, not looking bad as well. I can probably use some of those blooms this weekend. Everything else is pretty wild. This straw flower right here self-seeds really well. I've even had it come up in those pots and over there. So that's been a workhorse. I could still use some of these as well if I wanted to. But you can see everything else, all the snapdragons pretty much done. Sweet peas pretty much done. Big jungle in here. Calendula I could still use some of if I wanted to there. I have to tell you, these anemones keep surprising me. Mr. Foker and a bud right there. Just gorgeous. Been so pleasantly surprised with those. The rest of this bed pretty much done snapdragon wise. I've got a couple bronze with white here that might be usable, but we're pretty much done for the season. Same in this bed back here, although this is all fresh foliage, so maybe we'll get one more good flush. I like to think so. And again, Rudbeckia holding in pretty well there. Scabiosa on its way out. And that brings us back to the original beds I showed you. Lastly, up in the front garden beds, I do have some HS Flame and HS Date with really nice dark foliage. I love that foliage. And then this pop of color here in the actual petals that have bloomed up here. And if we come around the bend, look at those roses. Oh, just stunning. First year that I planted these. Absolutely beautiful. So low maintenance, I don't even deadhead them, and they keep putting on some blooms. So these have been so wonderful. Again, this variety is At Last Rose. And finishing up here, my fall containers, spring turn to fall containers, really looking nice. They've even filled in a bit already. Adds a nice big welcoming entrance, fall entrance into the front door. So I'm happy with those. They got plenty of water in the storm. It's a nice finishing touch at the front of the house here. Otherwise, we're done here, friends. That is my update for September. Comment below and let me know how your garden's looking, what's still thriving in your area. I know a lot of our seasons are winding down, but I'd love to hear how things are doing. If you haven't yet, remember to subscribe to my channel to follow along with all things garden. We'll see you in the next one. Happy planting, everybody. Bye.